everybody, this is Sarah and I'm Miss Ruth, and we're here at St. James Sunday School here in Waterdown, and we're going to tell you the final of the three big stories that are all about Christmas. And we have a Christmas song today, and I see the kids coming in. There's Johnny and Izzy coming in really quick, and that's the grandparents of Dave and Pat, who we see all the time, don't we? We sure do. And then we've got Annie and Elam. We see them and their grandma Jane all the time. Gray's coming in with his big blue eyes. Jaden and Ezra, brothers. Lawson and Oliver. And we've been hearing about Oliver doing good things this week. Charlotte was sneaking around the corner again. She's a funny girl, I love her. And Abigail and Alexis. So welcome everybody, and anybody else who's joining us. We are really happy to have you today. So we're going to be talking today about kind of the end of the Christmas. It's the end of our Christmas break. So our song is called Christmas Joy. And we sang this once before. There's a few more words to it than usual. Here we go.
Joy to the world, we are glad. Everybody singing, we are glad. God loved us and sent His Son. Clap your hands. Jesus is born today. Clap your hands. Joy to the world, we are glad. Everybody singing, we are glad. Go tell the news today, shout it loud. Jesus is born today, shout it loud. Joy to the world, we are glad. Everybody singing, we are glad. Jesus is born, clap your hands. Merry, Merry Christmas, we are glad.
There we go. So it's a happy one to end on. And we're going to go into the story now. And just before that, I've got a few clues about what the story is about as you look at the poster. So you can see a picture of some people on camels, and a big bright star. So I just flipped the music words, and under here's our cartoonish picture of these same three men, the three wise men, and they have a star. So these men were known to be very, very brilliant academic people, and they had studied the stars, and they saw that there was this very, very, very bright star, and they knew that that represented something very special and that they needed to pay attention to it. And they studied it further and said, a new king has been born. So they were way out in the desert. They had to go across a big, vast desert area. I actually have a map of it. I'll come in closer and see this. So we've got a little tiny picture of them here. They had to go across the River Jordan and across this mountain range, the Abraham Mountains, and they crossed in through here, and they made their way over to Jerusalem. And in Jerusalem, they met King Herod, and they asked King Herod where the baby was. And while we have the map here, I just wanted to show you that, you know, in the story where Jesus was born up in Nazareth, it was such a long way from Bethlehem, where he is now and where the family started being. That's a long way away. I was guessing it might have been as far as from Waterdown to London, but it's actually 156 kilometers, and from Waterdown to London is only 128 kilometers, and that's why it took them several days of walking to get there. So these wise men were going even further than that to get over here to find where the baby is. So we'll go back to our picture, and here they are with King Herod. And they're telling King Herod that that they know that a king has been born, and they want to know if he knows where this baby is. So King Herod actually called on his teachers, and they told him that yes, a baby had been born, and who was the king, and that he was in not Jerusalem, but back in Bethlehem. So this was all news to King Herod, and King Herod was not happy to hear that there was another king in the area, even if it was only a baby. So he told the wise men, well, when you find this baby, come back and tell me so that I can worship him too. But that really wasn't his intentions. So it took the three wise men a little bit longer to get from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. That's not that far away. And when they got there, they did see Mary and Joseph and the baby, and they came with gifts. So they came with the gifts of gold, frankincense or incense, and perfume, or you'll hear it referred to as myrrh. So gold, incense, and perfume were the three most precious gifts that they gave to the baby Jesus, and they worshiped him, and they had gotten there because of this star. So we call that the Christmas star, and you see it has a special long point at the bottom and the top, and we have been talking about the Christmas star recently too in our science that's going on right now this month. So here is our Bible verse today. I will praise you, O God, and that's from 2 Samuel 22, verse 50. And that's what they did. So the wise men did leave, and they had some other words that they did tell to Mary and Joseph, and we'll hear a little bit more about that next week. But this is the story about the wise men. So I wanted to come over here and show you my creche or nativity scene. So we have Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus, and the shepherds have come and gone because they visited up in Nazareth, way up north, and now the three kings arrive, and this is back in Bethlehem, and this is with their gold, incense, and perfume. So the three special gifts, the most precious gifts they could possibly bring for the baby Jesus. So we'll put this away now, and we'll go into our craft area. Move that down a little bit so you can see. And in the craft area, I mentioned about right now we've had a special situation happening right here, and it's called the Great Conjunction, or the Christmas star. And that is when our two biggest planets in our solar system, which is Jupiter and Saturn, right here, when they look like they're getting close together in the sky. It's a little tiny distance from our eye. It's actually, a lot of space, a vast amount of space. But this is Jupiter. It's always got this storm going on. And here's Saturn with the special rings. They're the two gas giants, our two largest planets. And it's something that we can see with our naked eye without a telescope. So the last time that they were this close together in the night sky was 800 years ago in March of 1226. So this was a very special time for this alignment or conjunction to happen, and we call it the Christmas star. It happened on December 21st, which is not very far from Christmas Day, so it really was a Christmas star. It wasn't happening in March, like back 800 years ago. So I thought we'd do something with this idea and use black paper for the sky, just a piece of regular black paper, and then you need two circles to represent the two planets. So the larger one is for Jupiter, so I just found a big roll of tape and I cut that out. So that stands for Jupiter, represents Jupiter. And the planets in alignment from the sun are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So we're going to see Jupiter first, like this. And if you don't want your pencil mark to show, you're going to put that on the back. I've got another color. I'm using these colors because these are the hot colors in my construction paper pile. pinks and oranges. Could be red. There's a big red storm on Jupiter they always show. So here's the middle part for Saturn. And then we need to draw something for the rings. So I just take this paper and try and see if I can draw something like this that would represent the rings. And cut that out. I cut it a little bit wider than I drew it. There we go. And see if that fits on. Fits on pretty good. We'll just slip it in here like this. So these can be glued down. And when they come that close together, they create such a bright light, just as the wise men saw in the sky, that it creates the Christmas star. So the Christmas star is just a big, bright area in the sky. And they show it as having these points. So we're putting these two close together like this. Add a little bit in there. There we go. So there's the two planets. Show up pretty good there. And then the Christmas star. So it looks like this shape. This is a cookie cutter shape. And we can cut one of those out. I just traced it a little bit larger and goes right here in the center. And so that truly does represent the Christmas star with the conjunction of our two largest planets. And then you can always add extra lines and things to, if you want to show that storm on Jupiter, and you can draw extra lines and things on the planets as you wish. Put some glitter on the star and have some fun with it, okay? And the other idea I had was to use this to show some other stars in the sky. So if you have a punch, you can just use that, get a few of these, and this shows more stars from a long distance away, the way that they are. So that's another little idea if you've got a whole bunch to make some other stars. It makes it look a little more realistic. Okay, so we're going to go back here, and I'm going to show you the picture in the large storybook of the wise men in the distance, and the bright star. And there's Mary and Joseph, so they are not in Nazareth, they're in Bethlehem. And I'm going to read a little bit of the story from this book on, again, the wise men, so you have a good idea of what happened. So the wise men stopped before the home over which the star now stood, and they went in, knowing that they had come to the end of their journey. There they found little Jesus lying in the arms of Mary. They too fell on their knees and prayed, and they presented the child with very precious and beautiful gifts. Their gifts, as all other gifts are given, were given to show their love for him who is the King of love. Before the wise men left Bethlehem, they had a dream in which they were told to go back to their country by another way. That way they would not be able to see Herod and tell him where the baby was. So they did not pass through Jerusalem again. Okay. So I'm just going to end with the little prayer that's in the teacher guide. And I hope you'll all be back with me next week. And I'll find it. Here it is. Okay. I thank God for the people in my family and my community. We thank God for all the good things he has given to us. At Christmas time, we thank and praise God for Jesus. So let us take those thoughts into our hearts and into our families, and enjoy the rest of your Christmas holiday, and all the best on learning online in the next week. I'll see you again with Miss Sarah next week here at St. James Sunday School. Bye for now.